Ciao a tutti, benvenuti al mio canale. Il tempo è molto bellissimo, finalmente a Chicago. That's Italian for hello to all. Welcome to my channel, and the weather in Chicago is finally beautiful. My name is Dr. Sharon Sezeki. I'm a general dentist who's been practicing in a suburb outside of Chicago for the last 36 years. I've been given the opportunity to do 5-minute videos, 5 minutes or less, on my idle thoughts. Things I've been thinking about for the last 36 years, or maybe even the last 36 minutes, as the case may be. A topic near and dear to my heart is something that I do pertaining to dentistry, but outside of dentistry. And that is that for the last 10 years, I've been acting as an expert witness for the legal community. What that means is that in cases of dental malpractice, I'm called upon to give testimony, usually on behalf of the patient, but sometimes on behalf of the dentist as well. A lot of that testimony centers around the only thing that's really available to me, and that's documentation, document review of all things pertaining to the case. So I thought I would speak clearly to you today about something that you probably don't think clearly about, and that is how important your documentation is. As dentists, we see patients with the intentions of doing everything that we can clinically, making sure that that patient's experience is one that is perhaps nerve-wracking for the patient, but comfortable by the time that we're done. So we spend a lot of time focusing on our clinical approach to our patients. And at the end of the day, or at the end of each patient appointment, we document things like that, everything that we did that day. Sometimes we're not so good at documentation. Sometimes we don't clearly state our intentions or document carefully or are as grammatical as we could be. And the sad fact of the matter is that in cases like the ones I'm dealing with, where I'm asked to look at your documents, if you haven't written things clearly, and if you haven't written it at all, it doesn't exist. I can't read your mind. I probably pretty much know what it is that you were trying to do when you were helping that patient, but if it's not written down, I can't help you in this case. I can't defend you. I can't easily state what it is that you were trying to do. So let's review. What you want to do is document carefully. Be grammatical. Document with intent. In other words, write down what it is that you were trying to do. You don't need to dot every I and cross every T. You don't need to do that. I'm your colleague. I know what it is that you're doing. But it helps if you have notes in there that might explain why things didn't go so well or why things went very well. So that when I am looking back at your documentation over a long period of time, especially as usually in cases like these, then it's clear to me what it is that you were trying to do and perhaps just weren't successful in doing, either through no fault of your own or through fault of your own. Who knows? The important thing is to think of your documentation as much as writing a novel. It has a beginning, it has an end, and it has a lot of things in between that make up chapters. Chapters in over the course of the lifetime that you dealt with this patient. It could be as simple as one visit, really. Sometimes it happens. We save patients for one time for a consultation only. The patient elected not to come back to see us, and because we weren't necessarily going to see the patient again, we didn't perhaps write as much as we could have. But sometimes those things are important because sometimes that one visit might be integral to a case. On the other hand, if we've seen patients for many years, if our novel isn't complete, if it doesn't indicate why we did what we did, why we thought what we thought, why we recommended what we recommended, then when you get to the end of the day or the end of the novel, then and things aren't necessarily going as well as you would like, it's a little hard to defend any of us. When, again, we can't read your minds. I can't read your minds. Neither can the attorney that's hired to represent you. It's always easier just to be able to go back and point to a particular spot in the chart, or since we're all digital nowadays, a spot in the computer program that really says what it is that we were trying to do that day and why it didn't go well. I think it's important to remember that patients don't necessarily think of what it is that we do clinically. All they want to know is that at the end of the day, things went well. And in cases where they don't go well, which happens through no fault of our own, we can go back and clearly point out to them as to why it didn't go well. We can point to particular days or times or pictures, x-rays, and explain again what it is that we told them at the time. Patients don't always understand what it is that we're trying to do for them with our best of intentions. even in the simplest of language, they don't appreciate sometimes how difficult it is to do what we're doing. And so as a result, the clearer we are in making our notes, the clearer we are in our communication effort with our patients, the better off we'll be. So remember that. Think about this topic for tonight. Documentation is key. Can't read your mind. Write it down, or it doesn't exist. Ciao. Till next time.